What is going on, guys? We are going fishing again, and it has been a long time since I've gone fishing. It's now been about 3 weeks. We're going fishing with Jake today. We're just gassing up the boat and truck, and it's supposed to kind of rain and be overcast all day, so that's, I think, is going to be a big player of what's going to be happening. And we're going smallmouth fishing per the usual, but these overcast conditions, kind of on and off rain all day, are going to really play an impact on our ability to catch them. And I'll go through that with you guys. I'll share with you throughout the day kind of what I think it's making these fish do. Let's finish gassing this thing up, gas up the boat, head to the lake, and I'll catch you guys here in a second. As I mentioned in the intro, it's a little bit overcast and cloudy. It's supposed to be like that pretty much all day. So we're going to really talk through what that does to smallmouth, show you guys kind of my progressions throughout the day, and hopefully catch some fish. We're in really clear water, great lake situation, super slick, flat, calm. It's supposed to be pretty calm all day with my man, Mr. Jake Beebe. Also, quick shout out. This is a new camera I'm using for the video. It's called the Akaso Brave 7. This is the camera you guys are going to see on my chest, but it's the Akaso Brave 7. Kind of a review, kind of just letting you guys see that footage. It's going to be a little bit different than my normal GoPro footage. So like it, love it, hate it. Let me know down in the comment section down below. Enough talking. Let's make this thing happen. But this could also mean that they're shallow. With this weather, it would make sense they'd be shallow. I can't tell if this is big or not. It's dark though. Definitely the best one of the day so far. Whoops, I just threw him right on top of another fish. Like right under the boat. Oh wait, I think it's big. Damn, boy! Is that a tornado siren?
Yeah.
Is that a tornado right there, funnel forming? Let me check my phone. Hey, it'd be a cool story to tell our kids one day if we fished through it.
Yeah, dude, it'd be sweet if it just set us down over.
Oh, then we wouldn't have to drive that far. Throughout this footage, I want to kind of interrupt a couple times and explain the conditions we were faced with and the decisions that we were making and why we were making them to go catch fish. So no longer can I go out and kind of pick and choose my days. I can't only go fish on the most optimal smallmouth conditions. And in fact, the day that we were out there were pretty much the worst smallmouth conditions you could ask for. Cloudy and overcast with virtually no wind. That's great if you like to cover water, but what that makes those smallmouth do is push up on the shallow flats and roam shallow cover. There's nothing to pin them deep, there's no current, and there's no sun that's going to position them on isolated pieces of cover. So you typically have to just cover water. So what we did is we put that trolling motor on about 6 or 7, got up in that shallow flat. We're using our eyes and using moving baits to see if we could target some fish. We're back after a short little interlude of rainstorm and beyond, but we've been catching fish. We moved areas a little bit, and there's a bunch of fish in this general area, and we're catching them. Jake caught a good one, and I almost took my eye out with my bait coming back to me, but there's a bunch of fish just in this area. I'll show you guys on my graph. That's one, there's some fish in the backside of that. I think I'm bit. Yep. There's actually good fish here too. It's not just this size. It's like the bigger fish are off by themselves though. There are a ton of fish. There's one. I think that one's better. Can't tell. I think so. Yeah, it's a better fish. Out off the edge of it. We're figuring out little by little what's going on. I think that rainstorm moving through helped quite a bit because these fish are significantly more aggressive than they were. Thanks, buddy. The bait I switched to is this Max Scent Little Trooper in the rusty crayfish color. Looks like a goby too. It's really good, just general imitation. 3/16 ounce do it mold head. and then a 7.3 medium light plus TFO Resolve rod. We're kind of dialing in a little bit more of how to catch some of the better quality fish, and hopefully we can keep putting it together and it's not just a fluke, it's not just like a bite window, because Jake's caught that 1 over 4. I've caught a couple right around 3 pounds, which we're right in the middle of that thunderstorm. We're starting to put piece by piece by piece together. In this next segment of footage, I encourage you guys to look at what we were fishing. And that's one of the cool things about this video, is you guys can pretty much see exactly what we were targeting these bass on. It's super visual, it's shallow water, and we're targeting isolated pieces of cover and contour changes. So what that means is we're looking for isolated boulders or isolated dark spots, or areas that there are contour changes where you see that water go from light colored to dark colored. That typically indicates a drop off. So we were fishing the Great Lakes, but this is applicable to anywhere that you have smallmouth roaming in that shallow water. So that could be your glacial bodies of water, it could be river systems. Using your eyes and being able to identify isolated pieces of shallow cover can be a great opportunity when it slicks off, it's flat, calm, and it's overcast to come up shallow and catch these fish. That's a nice one. 2 with them, yeah. 2 with them, big ones. Oh, hey, bud. It's a nice one. Just a solid fish. He ate that before it even hit bottom, dude. Thanks, fish. Not terrible small. Look at them all. I hope you guys can see that, but there's a lot there. I want to show you guys really quickly the mapping that we're looking at, and essentially what we're targeting are these points and small turns in the contours where there's broken up boulders setting off of the break. So we could visually see these contour changes and color changes in the water. Now what we started to notice throughout the day is that these fish wanted to be on those slower sloping banks. You had to have deep water access nearby with hard steep drops, but those sloping banks had isolated pieces of big boulder rock on them, and that's what we were targeting and catching these fish off of. So that's a big key for you guys to keep in mind, is pay attention to what the contour lines and what the areas that you're fishing look like, and then you can typically replicate that across your body of water. I don't know if it's big or not. Not a bad one. I've lost both of my good fish today. They are really eating that little trooper, though. Thing is way in there. Thanks, bud. As that sun started to come up throughout the day, one thing those fish started doing was locking into the cover, and this is a great lesson to learn. Low light conditions, fish like to roam and suspend and kind of move around and cruise, but when that sun gets high, when the sun starts to come up, they'll become pretty predictable and lock into the pieces of shallow cover, and that's when you guys are going to see me pick up this little Ned rig. This is the Berkeley Little Trooper, and what it allowed me to do is make targeted casts and keep this bait on that piece of isolated cover or on those contour swings. And the rod I was throwing that on was the brand new TFO Resolve Series 7.3 Medium Light Plus. It's a great Ned rig rod, super versatile, and I can make really long casts with it. Then a 3,000 size Abu Garcia Revo MGX with 10-pound braid to 8-pound test fluorocarbon line. Just basically picking up a 1/4 ounce Ned rig allows me to really effectively pick apart that isolated cover and make targeted casts where those smallmouth started to set up. So that was our day out there, and it was an incredible day. We caught a bunch of fish, just never really could find that bigger caliber fish on a consistent basis. But one of the big key takeaways I think for you guys is to understand how conditions impact these smallmouth bass. When you're fishing those high sun, windy conditions, those fish have to position on pieces of cover, and they'll tend to group up because it's going to position the bait fish. But on those days where it's overcast or it's slick calm, these fish have the ability to push up shallow and roam and chase bait in those shallow waters. So understand how the conditions affect these bass. Don't get locked into doing just one thing, and you have to be versatile and be willing to try to move around and figure out what these bass are doing. I also want to give a big shout out to Akaso. That was the camera that I was wearing on my chest, the Brave 7. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on the footage from today's trip. If you guys want to check out the camera, it's going to be linked down in the description below for you guys, so go down there, check it out if you're interested in picking one up. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to check out more fishing content, click this video right here, hit this button if you want to subscribe to the channel. And as always, take care, tight lines. God bless. Pursue your passion.